Greetings. This is Davina Liggins, and I'm coming today to ask you a critical question. Are you eating the right salt? Salt is important in our diet. And salt is composed of sodium chloride. That's the most abundant electrolyte or mineral that is present in salt. And it is essential for life. Sodium, in particular, is essential for life. We need it. We cannot do without it. Um, and the body goes through great lengths of regulating sodium and water. And why I say sodium and water, because the saying that says water follows salt. So they go hand in hand. And so when you have too much or when you have too little sodium, it can lead to confusion, dizziness. You can have muscle twitches, seizures. And this is really important because sodium has a very important role in propagation of the signal along the muscle fibers and the axons in the neurons to move signals in the brain, in the muscles. So it's very important. So it has a profound impact on brain function, muscle, everything. When you have too much sodium, it can lead to high blood pressure because, again, too much salt in the blood, it has to be diluted. The body is always striving for a balance, and that can lead to high blood pressure, cardiovascular disease, and even too much sodium can lead to dehydration in the body. And I want to point out to you that I was just recently reading there's this thing called death by salt. Have you heard of this? Yeah, about 1.65 million people die worldwide by death by salt. Can you believe this? Can you believe this? And that is because of too much salt consumption in the diet. And where does it come from? Processed food, eating out a lot. You can't control how much salt to add. You don't know. There are no labels in a lot of food that you eat out. I enjoy eating out. I will not stop eating out, but I do try to limit how often and the types of food I do eat when I eat out. I'm not perfect at it, but I make all good intentions on it. And of course, processed food, as we know, is loaded with salt. Um, and but that death by salt, 1.65 million people worldwide died by death by salt. This is totally unacceptable. And this clearly explains why your doctor, my doctor, all of our doctors say cut down on the salt. We hear this a lot, cut down on the salt. Well, we want our food to be flavorful. Table salt is the most common salt that is used out there. But there are other types of salt that you can use where the sodium content is much less. And so no one is saying don't put salt on your food, don't have any kind of flavor. But let's look at what we have going on here. Let's look at the next slide here. So here is just a quick summary of the different types of salts that are available. And I have the salt type, sodium chloride percentage there, trace minerals and electrolytes there in the third column, and any chemicals that are typically added. And so we start with table salt. Table salt is almost 98 to 99% sodium chloride. There's hardly no trace minerals or other types of electrolytes in table salt. They also add some additives, some chemicals, if you will, like anti-caking agents. Sea salt is a little bit better than table salt. However, it still doesn't have its higher level of, it's better in that it has less sodium chloride, but you can see that it has much less trace minerals compared to and other types of electrolytes compared to the other types of salt. And the other types of salt that I'm referring to are Himalayan pink salt. That has 84% sodium chloride. It has 16%. I skipped a row here. It has 16% trace minerals and electrolytes. Celtic salt is on the upper row there. Sorry, I skipped that row. It has about 85% sodium chloride, much less than table salt and sea salt. And it has 15% trace minerals and electrolytes, and of other types of electrolytes, I should say. And it's 92 per, it has 92 trace minerals in there. Himalayan pink salt has 80 to 84. Hawaiian algae salt, it has 80, 80 trace minerals and electrolytes, and only 81% to 84% sodium chloride. And you can see other types of salt there, the Hawaii Aki salt and the sea salt that is from France in the last row. These are your better options for salt. And I encourage you to throw away that table salt and and even stay away from the sea salt, particularly. It's not the better option. There are better options. There's Celtic salt. I have Celtic salt here. Let me just show you what that looks like. Um, Here's Celtic salt. It's grayish in color, if you can see that here. I have, you're probably familiar with Hawaiian pink salt. I have I'm sorry, Himalayan pink salt, and here is another type of pink salt. It is the Hawaiian algae salt. I really like this salt. You can see there's hardly nothing left in the package here. I use a lot of this actually. Here is a black salt here. This is also on the list there. And I also like this. They all have different flavors to them. Um, Here's the Celtic salt. I have very little left in this package. You can see at the bottom, there's the Celtic salt. So I'm sorry, this is not Celtic salt. This is the sea salt um, from France. Here's the Celtic salt. They look kind of similar because this type of sea salt from France uses the Celtic procedure to generate it. So nonetheless, there's different types of salt that you can use. Your food does not have to be bland. You don't have to have this table salt. So in summary, throw out that table salt, replace it, with Celtic salt, Himalayan pink salt, and they have different flavors, so you can play around with it. Just try it out in some of your food. They have different textures, if you will. Some are more coarse, and they have them where you can buy them finely ground. And so just try it out. Try out the different salts. Now remember, to get rid of table salt, it also means you're probably going to have to eliminate or highly reduce processed food, because most of that is table salt, unless it says made with Himalayan pink salt, made with Celtic salt, or has sea salt particularly. Otherwise, it's probably the table salt. So, and then also it coincides with reducing the number of times you eat out per week, what have you. Homemade food is always better because you get to choose what you put in there, including the type of salt that you add to your food. So hopefully this was helpful to someone. Buy all of these different types of salt, try them in different dishes. You will see the flavors very different from table salt, and you may have to adjust. You may love it off the bat. You may have to adjust. I know I changed over to pink Himalayan salt about probably 15 plus years ago, and I did have to get used to it. I could tell it had less sodium in there. You just will notice. That doesn't mean you need to add more. Doesn't mean you need to, double up on it. Um, but enjoy that what nature has to offer. These salts are naturally found. Table salt is missing a lot. So you all enjoy. Have a wonderful day. Leave in the comments how you handling your transition to different types of salt, which ones you like to cook with, any particular dishes you prefer one over the other. So you all be blessed and have a wonderful day.